Hello, everybody. Thank you for stopping by. My name is Westford. Hope you're having a good day. Hoping you're having a good Monday. Oh, no, what is this? It says my internet's all garbage again. Why is it happening? Why is it happening? Let me know if you can hear me. Can you see me? Is it doing good? Oh, my gosh. Why? Well, whatever. I might look like a potato. I might sound like one. I gotta wait for you guys to let me know. This whole streaming thing is interesting. You know, I don't even know what I sound like. I'm still not really used to this whole streaming thing. It's weird, man. I woke up, took a nap, man. Yeah, that's what I'm here to tell you about, man. Like, got home. I was planning on doing this stream thing. I had a whole topic ready to go. I was gonna get all my resources put together, get my tabs, be professional. I had a killer headache. I took a nap. I done fell asleep. Woke up 2 hours later. This gentleman right here, was like, "Where are you at?" I can't have people saying, "What, you quit? Did you quit? You took a nap? What, did you quit?" Can't have that. Can't have that. Rip here, Athanasius was like, "Yo, man, what's up? Where are you at?" Well, let's get the receipts. What did you say exactly? What up? You going live? I said, had a killer headache. Just woke up from a nap. Sounds like woman cope. And then you said, you don't have to go live, man. It's okay. You don't have to prove that you're a man. Whenever somebody says that, unless it's like you got to kill somebody or something, like you have to do it. Because they're telling you the opposite of what they're saying. They're saying if you don't do this, then you're not a man. And I know that I'm essentially just Marty McFly right now. Like, no one calls me chicken. And that puts the ball in your court. That gives you all the power. But, I mean, what else am I supposed to do? It's a lose-lose situation. Either I give you the power, or I'm a woman. I don't like either of those options. What is the Hegelian dialectics in that? Oh, what's the synthesis of you having the power and me being a woman? I don't like that. I don't like that third option either, the synthesis. Yeah, don't be a quitter. That's why I'm always drinking and smoking. Nobody likes a quitter. Yeah, I mean, honestly, people that quit smoking after like 50 years should be shamed. You had a good thing going. You're going to beat the statistic. What? You could have lived to like 70, 75. Even if you had cancer then, it's like, I mean, that's like, I'm sure there's somebody out there who has gone like 20 miles over the speed limit every day of their life. Every day of their life, they're going 20 miles over the speed limit. Maybe they get like a speeding ticket here or there. But if you average all the time and then the money there's somebody out there who's probably never gotten a speeding ticket, but they speed every day, 25, 30 miles per hour over. And I think they should be applauded. They got away with it. They're the exception. Even if they got caught, what, they're going to spend $250 on a ticket? I mean, that's like you're saying I had to pay $250 for the privilege of getting everywhere faster. There's probably people out there. You see them sometimes on the road. They don't have their little tabs on their license plate, or it says tabs from like 2013. Like, this dude hasn't paid tabs since 2013. He saved some money. Maybe he's gotten pulled over, maybe not. I mean, either way, I applaud that. I applaud the little fight, the little resistance. It's what we need in this country. I think it's the civil disobedience of that one femboy homosexual writer known as Henry David Thoreau. That little twink. He said at least one good thing, and it was civil disobedience. and he should have credit for that. He's sitting over there by his puddle, speaking a bunch of nonsense, telling me how much it costs to buy nails and planks of wood in the 1800s. I don't give a shit. Little weird homosexual having your mother do your laundry, you fraud. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Just like Abraham Lincoln said, unjust laws are justly broken by a man when challenged. I mean, yeah, we could do that. That's fine with me. I had a whole thing, like I said, planned out, but I'm not in the headspace for that. I'm a little bit spacey right now. A little bit Kevin Spacey. I woke up and then here I am. Which actually, okay, if we're doing prot radio right now, what are you saying here, Dustin? That's funny because I used to speed a ton and never got tickets. Then I decided to slow down. Wasn't paying attention. Got caught going 12 over. I go 12 over like 5 is my minimum. 5 to 10 is what I do. What about you, Nadim? Are you old enough to drive?
Yes.
What's up? Hold on. Let me get my audio figured out.
Yeah, do that.
I'm just doing Athanasius' request. He said he preferred this camera angle.
That is true. I can't even tell if you're upside down or what. I see disembodied. Oh no, there's your nose. Okay. I was really disoriented there.
Like I
Could have
said
been any
on
direction.
Friday, I said I preferred that to the short shorts and eating chicken wings, dude.
What's wrong with chicken wings, man?
Just the
You
floating
racist?
mustache. No.
You racist?
Yeah.
You against
No,
eating
I'm
chicken?
just saying, dude.
You against
okay.
KFC?
All right, Nadim, is like you have the light of the sun shining on you right now. I understand why you're squinting, but he's just saying he didn't like the fried chicken and camel toe is all he's saying. And there's nothing wrong with that.
No, I was just saying it's rude to eat on stream, man. Someone's trying to have a conversation with you and stuff in your face.
It was a mukbang, man. It was a mukbang.
It was a mukbang.
Oh my gosh, we got Toilet Bowl Earth here. How you doing, sir?
Oh,
Yo,
The
what up?
toilet.
What up,
TVE?
bud?
Yeah, how you doing, man? How you living?
What up,
Well,
man?
I've just been eating fucking turkey pinwheel sandwiches for the last hour.
It sounds like you and Nadim could be friends. He likes
bulking.
to.
Oh yeah.
He likes
trash
to eat
bulking right now.
and show his bulge.
I don't want to see the man's bulge. If that's cool with y'all.
No, that's what we're here to tell him about. We're trying to have an intervention.
I never showed my bulge.
I'm bulge phobic. Okay, I don't want to see bulges. I'm against all of that.
Oh man, you one of them bulge phobes?
Yeah, I'm a bulgophobe. Yeah, that
Damn.
includes Bulgarians too.
And I don't know who are the Bulgars were. Man, I hate them. Is that real people, Bulgars? I feel like you can play them in Age of Yeah, it's somebody you can play in Age of Empires. Pretty sure. Whoever they are.
Yeah, Bulgars. Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's
Yeah, screw them.
people.
I don't like them.
Yeah. I don't know them. So.
There's some Bulgar, man. There's some.
Man, we're trying. We are undoing so much progress, so much human progress in this society. Trying to roll it back to, bulge hate. I mean, what was civil rights about, anyways?
I don't know. Where are we going with this?
I don't know. Anson knows. Anson
knows.
where do you stand on bulges on your campaign when you're campaigning next? What's your position?
Well, it depends on the location of the bulge. If there's.
Why do you sound
Brother,
like
it sounds like you ate a cigarette for breakfast, man.
Why do you sound like the bad guys in Metal Gear Solid 2 like I played last week?
Is there something wrong with my sound?
Oh yeah, you sound like you're the human facade is melting away right now.
Listen, I want to clarify my position. I am pro goiter,
Okay.
anti-bulge. Okay.
A goiter is just a face bulge, dude.
Yeah, that's fine. We must support those people in their hard times. It's rough out there for the goiters.
Yeah.
But does a,
Yeah,
does
they-
a
I mean,
bunion count as a bulge?
Brother.
I think he sounds like what it's like the tracheotomy voice, from the smoking.
Yeah.
Like,
Okay,
it's like retro causality.
do an RFK impression. Do an RFK impression.
Just
Anson.
say something normally. He sounds like RFK.
Yeah. Sorry. Talk about vaccines.
Yeah, I can't talk about vaccines because it's against TOA.
Oh, okay.
Sounds exactly like him.
They're gonna
You
send-
need to sound. You need to sound
I
tired.
can't talk
Part
about
of the medical
vaccines.
industrial complex.
You need to sound more tired and like you're sounding like you're trying to like negotiate with your captors at the same time. Let's add those two elements in there, and you got RFK.
Start
Do you know
blinking
the-
and like SOS. Yeah, try to let us know if you're okay.
The vaccine was intentional.
Has he gotten whiter to you? I feel like he's gotten whiter in the last 6 months. I don't know what that means. Like his neck is thicker.
Do you know the machines they put on the throats of people that like are half they can't really talk and like it's just vibrations?
So you're talking about like Stephen Hawking?
No. They have like a thing they put on their throat.
Yeah, they like.
They talk
Yeah, it's tracheotomy. Right? Isn't that what that is?
What did you say?
Anson, can you tell us how your
No,
tracheotomy?
he's gone. He's gone.
Yeah,
No,
Yep.
wait, no, he's maybe. Everybody.
the tracheotomy did not save his life.
The skeptic is such a kid, man. So,
No, Anson's back. What were you trying to ask, Anson?
Why'd you put me
Well,
back?
I wanted him to tell us how his tracheotomy saved his life.
Yeah, it still
now it sounds worse. We can't
Oh,
even
Yeah.
hear you.
boy.
No, that was
I gotta
Rev's
get out of here.
machinery.
I gotta get out of here. OSHA would not approve. I'll see you guys later.
Just have a good one, man. All right, yeah, Anson, how did your tracheotomy save your life? How did it save your marriage?
it didn't save my marriage. That's the reason why the marriage fell apart.
Anson, if you keep going, you'll teach us all how to speak Lebanese. So, I'm for that.
Hey, on a related subject, I went to Orthodox liturgy yesterday.
Glory to
Nice,
God. What'd you
man.
think?
The kids were kissing the pictures.
That's true.
Yeah.
Yeah,
what
that
they
was
do.
different. That was different.
They
Is
love
that
the
the only
Lord.
thing that was different that you saw that was different?
It was exactly like a Protestant church, except they kissed pictures. It was
Yeah.
very easy to point out the difference.
Well, no. At the Protestant church, the preachers kiss you too, just in the closet.
Yeah, well, they kiss the children
Yeah,
when you're not looking. That's why they go to VBS.
yeah. That was my experience at BBS, at least.
How many times did your preacher kiss you?
Oh, I
How
don't
often?
know. He really just kept me turned around most of the time. It wasn't just about the kissing.
Right. So when it was dark, you couldn't really even tell who it was, right?
Right? Yeah.
That's about how it was for me.
Can we shift it back to liturgy?
To the tracheotomy. I mean, if you want
No,
to.
to the liturgy. How was it, Anson?
Well, I already told you, man. The kids were kissing pictures. There
Is
was
that the only thing that happened?
there was some guy chanting a bunch of stuff. There were all these pictures everywhere. The icons they called them.
Was it the Serbian or the Greek?
It was Greek. I went to one down in Montgomery. It's a few hours away from my house. A friend of mine's got
I went to the Greek Orthodox church, and the children were kissing the pictures. And I think this was because the vaccine made them not be able to tell the difference between two-dimensional and three-dimensional people.
You just did it the easy way. You took the easy way in doing the impression. You just scared for your voice. Just want to keep your voice.
Oh, okay. So you want me to? I have to like listen to him to get it.
And that's it.
Is he like? Is it more in the throat?
Yeah, he
Okay, so it's more in the throat. Let me picture back. Okay, back in the closet at my Baptist church. Okay, the Greek Orthodox Church.
Oh, that's it. Yeah, yeah, that's it.
Okay,
That's
gotcha. I had
okay.
to put myself back in that headspace of being like 9 years old.
Is it too loud in here?
I'll mute you if it gets bad.
No, it's the
All right.
perfect level of annoying. You can just keep it on.
I mean, I have your machinery or Anson's robot. I mean, it's our listeners are having a rough go of it today, no matter what. I mean, I should say our listener. Sorry if I'm gonna.
Yeah, I was
How-
gonna ask
how-
how many people do we have in the chat?
That's,
It's just us four.
yeah,
We're
I'm
all
pretty
on
sure
screen.
it's just counting you guys 3, and well, if it's me, and then you guys are the 3 listeners, I suppose. Anson,
and
you just
how
like looking
long
at
did
yourself?
Yeah, I love myself.
That's
Don't
good.
you love yourself?
Hey, what are the takeaways from your first liturgy? The voters want to know.
Yeah. So I don't know. I'm gonna go back on Sunday, and then I'll find out more stuff about it.
So your takeaway is that you're gonna come back.
Go back on Sunday so I can find out about it.
You're like using the same microphone you usually use?
Yeah. Let me fix it. I'll be back.
Okay.
And then there's like the beeping and
Yeah. Yeah, like if somebody like a neighbor kid's baseball hits Nance in the face and like part of the robot machinery, the red eye starts appearing. The steam goes out of the ear. How y'all
I think
doing?
that's odd. I think that's odd that he doesn't have more to say besides kissing, kids kissing icons for his
Well, I mean,
first liturgy.
it makes sense to me a little bit. The first time I went, I feel like I didn't get that much out of it. Like, I think it depends on your headspace. Because when I first went, like late 2019, early 2020, I was in the ecumenist Protestant headspace of like, this is just another branch, another denomination. So I went and it felt like back in the South, because I went to tons of different Protestant churches and they did things like totally different. Like I had the one that like sticks out in my mind is they had, it was a picture like a really small gymnasium with like bleachers on either side and just like a really small aisle in the middle, and women would be on one side and men on the other, and they would just, this is like a weird thing, but they would just like say whatever they wanted to. Yeah, it was like some weird Baptist thing, like a free Baptist thing where they would just say whatever. They'd sing songs sporadically. Anybody could say anything. Anybody could pray or read a verse or whatever. So like in my head, it was like just as weird as something like that. I mean, I didn't understand what was going on.
Depends also, and depends also on what church you're going to, where the community there, like you can't really have like the. It depends what church you first go to. Am I
Yeah, definitely.
correct? Because I didn't feel that feeling. Because when I first came back to Orthodoxy, the first church I went to wasn't. Like they didn't have their church anymore. They rent out. It's the one that I go to in London now. But we rent out a Catholic church.
I see. Yeah, so, I mean, there's and I've been to a mission that was like a rented out space and then like an office building. So basically, like when they're there on Sunday, they can move all the cubicles and then like have like an aisle where they put up like a wooden iconostasis.
That's
like
exactly what we do.
Yeah. And the first liturgy I went to was in like a converted barn, so they just had like a couple rugs on the ground and
that's cool.
Somewhat of a makeshift iconostasis. They only had icons like pictures up on the wall, nothing hand painted, no mural stuff. Do what?
Hipster Orthodox. So just an abandoned barn.
They're like one of those churches that's like forever saving up for a building.
Oh. Yeah.
Us, the British the guy that like in the UK you can't have a lease like for over a certain amount of time, and like you can't own anything because like there's like some lord that owns the land, so you can't fully own something. So they said the building was like 1,000 year old, and they were there for like 20 years, and they came for an inspection, and they said, yeah, the building is too old, it needs a renovation. Pay up 6 million. They're like, of course not. We were here for 20 years. The building is 1,000 year old, so they're like, okay, you need to leave. So like, and it was a cathedral, and I didn't see, I just went there. It was very nice. It was big, but what can we do now? We're like it feels like we're in a saloon. It's like
Yeah, I mean, depending on the church you go to, there's it evokes much different feelings, especially if it's like your first time. Like if my first time was at a big cathedral, there's a giant Romanian church not that far from me, and it's like in the middle of a neighborhood, really. Like it's just houses, and then a giant church just like on a corner next to like houses on either side, basically, and it's humongous, and like everything's hand painted. Let's see if we got a robot man again. Hello? You're on air.
we can't see your face.
He's really good at staying still. Blink! There you go. Hello?
Speak.
Hello?
Speak.
He's gone full robot now.
That's all choppy now. I don't know what the hell's going on.
Oh, now that's better.
You sound good, but your video's all weird now.
Mm-hmm.
What?
English, motherfucker. Do you speak it?
It's all like weird and shit. Can you hear me?
Yeah,
I agree.
it's pretty
Yeah.
weird, dude.
Yeah, I can hear you. I can't see you well, but I can hear you. I can
Yeah,
just
the
Oh my
point I
gosh.
was making.
Oh my gosh.
Oh my god, bro.
Not,
Okay,
not,
so the
not,
point
Nadim's the only one I can hear.
Oh, that's weird.
is
Okay.
it.
All right, Nadim, it's Nadim's show.
Westford
Go.
said. So Westford said, okay, that's weird. Wait. They just left, man.
It's just me and you, Nadim.
Yeah,
We
can
got
you
to
hear me
carry
now?
the show. It's all dependent on us.
Yeah. I heard you don't like it. You don't like the like Westford's joke. So now's your stage. It's like the stand-up stage,
Yeah. No, that's a misconception. I really enjoy Westford's jokes. He just doesn't make any.
Oh, so you enjoyed nothing.
Right? Yeah. Yeah.
You enjoyed the
I'm joyless.
nothingness of his jokes.
Yeah, being joyless is one of the burdens of atheism. You gotta learn that. I'm gonna teach you about Orthodox atheism now.
Okay, yeah, sure. Let's hear about it.
Yeah. So you gotta the big component of Orthodox atheism is kissing the pictures.
Which pictures?
Well, I mean, you got the all the ones taken by the Hubble telescope. You know, those are good pictures.
Okay.
You know, Darwin's a good picture to kiss. You want to make sure your kids are kissing Darwin from a young age.
Yeah, do you have to bow down before? Like at least like do a small bow then kiss or
Yeah, it's kind of like that, and you know your family walks up with you while you're kissing the pictures. It's really beautiful.
Okay. And what's like the alternative for like crossing yourself?
Yeah, there you go. That's a beautiful picture right there. I could
That's a
just kiss that.
beautiful,
I'm gonna kiss it. Hold on. Thank you. Thank you for that. I need more
I
pictures.
see. But what's the alternative for like crossing yourself?
Crossing myself?
Orthodox?
Oh,
for
you
like-
mean that the thing everybody was doing in addition to like getting down on their knees and standing up stuff? Yeah, that was
Yes.
wild, man. The Orthodox, that's wild, dude. They're always like it's like an aerobics exercise. You know, there's hand movements and some guy chanting in the background. You know, they don't even do the music thing. It's just like, you know, chanting stuff, and it's all echoey and stuff. Man, oh, there's a Carl Sagan. Come here, Sagan. Oh, so good.
I don't know if it's okay for me to laugh or not.
No. That's just a little bit too nice right there. The flying spaghetti monster. Don't. Okay, I will just for you. There.
Okay, but you didn't tell me what's the alternative for
The
crossing your
alternative, oh no, you just cross your arms.
Oh, okay. But we do that too, like
No,
when
no,
we.
no, no. So you do it like this, that thing right there. I'm just talking about crossing your arms, like crossing them discontentedly, you know.
Oh, okay, okay, yeah. Yeah, but I mean, any human can do that, no? Or,
Well, I know, and that we worship ourselves, so it's something that any human
ah,
can do,
yeah,
So
yeah.
yeah, I don't know who that guy is. Oh, that's Richard Dawkins. Oh yeah, that's the guy right there. Look at him standing by a big
Come on,
green bush.
you get it, guess
Yeah, okay, okay. There you go, Dawkins.
it. Okay, okay. So what's the alternative for the church? So what's your place of meeting?
Oh, the world is our place of meeting. We don't need
Oh yeah.
a building,
Oh yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, a
Okay.
lot of us are on the internet though.
So
So,
okay. So do you have like an online alternative for a priest, for example?
well, yeah, they're at the. Oh no, I'm not gonna. No, I can't do that to Norm. That would be blasphemous. I'm sorry. That's outside of the realm of Orthodox atheism. That yeah, that's just over the line right there. I can't do that.
Yeah, this AI is very is the AI started becoming blasphemous. That's crazy. So yeah, what's your alternative for a priest?
Alternative. Oh, those are the. You talk about our clergy.
Yeah.
Yeah. So Anthony Fauci was our pope for a while, and then
Oh yeah, that makes sense.
he resigned. And we've been on hiatus looking for a new pope, and we think Kamala Harris will be the next pope.
Oh yeah, because you not enough of you were jabbing yourself with
Yeah,
chemicals.
but Kamala will get us there.
Oh, and that's the first icon ever painted.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, they
Yeah.
painted it. They painted theirs in feces. So
Oh yeah, okay,
yeah.
that makes sense.
So yeah,
Makes sense.
I'll kiss that one. Hold on.
Oh, it
Oh, no, it's
disappeared.
gone. No, no, you're kissing me. Get off. God. Hello,
I
Eastern
think
Orthodox guy.
that if I were Christian, that would have been blasphemous.
You're
Oh,
kissing me?
No, everything he just said.
Oh.
I thought me laughing was a bit over the line.
Well, I mean, it's what that's like your thing, Nadim.
What,
Yeah,
being
somebody's
over
got
the
to
line?
laugh at him.
Yeah, I mean, if Nadim doesn't laugh, we'll all start crying.
Okay, so what's the alternative for the Eucharist, for example?
So you're gonna have to
Space
translate.
dust. Space
You're gonna have
dust.
to translate. What is a Eucharist?
It's the body and blood of Christ in the bread and wine. I think that just
So
people
when they
eating
went
dust and
and
calling
they
it space dust.
the priest was
The noodly
was
appendage will now come down and turn this dust into space dust.
Oh,
wait, wait.
microplastics are our uterus.
Oh yeah. No. Oh no. Okay,
Hello, Eastern
so
Orthodox guy. How are you doing, sir?
Oh, I'm doing all right.
That's good to hear, man.
Yeah,
Anson, were you there in the part where everyone was going up to the priest and he was feeding them?
Yeah, yeah. I didn't get the communion. They excluded me from that because of my atheism.
Well,
Oh,
they
you
excluded
tried
me.
to
My
go
first
there.
time, I was a Protestant. And they excluded me for my Protestantism. So
Did you try to go? Or
No,
someone
I
told you
knew
not?
better. I've been to one
Okay.
Catholic service before, and the Catholics are a lot like the Orthodox. They got similar stuff, but the Orthodox don't have any bells.
well, that's not
How
true.
so?
Oh well, the one I
Well-
went to didn't have any bells. Maybe they didn't have enough money for bells.
Well, yeah,
Maybe-
sometimes
maybe
they have
the-
big
the
bells.
city
They
didn't
have
let
bells
them.
on their sensor.
yeah. I remember the first service I went to was Vespers, but the following morning I went back for liturgy, and I actually did approach the chalice because I remembered at Catholic services, you would go up to receive a blessing, and so it was kind of a embarrassing, funny, humbling thing. And anyhow, I thought that I would chime in because on a commute back from work recently, one of my coworkers is a veteran, and he was listening to. It really got my tinfoil hat mind really grinding because he was listening to the Black Rifle Coffee podcast, and I was just like, I'll get to the other point later, but the specific thing that username Orthodox Atheist was pointing out is the guy was talking about some D-Day anniversary memorial, and he was pointing out that they were going to the graves of all of these soldiers from D-Day and World War II, and he pointed out that one of the most profound things that happened was going up to the headstones and these marble headstones and touching them. And I thought, oh, it really is true that all of the like aspects of like holistic worship and orthodoxy, they end up becoming replaced. And it was really profound for me to think about this veteran essentially like venerating headstones.
Right.
I mean, we were joking about it, me and Wes the other day, about like when Trump was doing his speech in the RNC, he went and kissed the helmet of the guy that died. I'm like, yeah, I mean, what? That's very. I said like that's very hypocritical for like Protestants saying that you don't kiss icon. Like, why'd you kiss icons and stuff?
Every
and,
Baptist
like,
is going to be like
icon
iconoclastic. Every Baptist is going to be iconoclastic, but when Christmas times comes around, they're pulling out their manger and their little baby Jesus. Well, I want to highlight right now. Athanasius here is frozen, but doesn't that look like what you came back? I was gonna say you looked like a really good profile picture from like 2010. It's the emo kid who's taking pictures of himself but turns away.
You're muted, Athanasius.
Yeah, sorry. Can I unmute you? Yeah. Oh, there you go.
There we go. Yeah, when it was sideways, I could see the mute or unmute button, but now I can't see it. But
I got
finally out of work. I just had to lock up the shop and everything. Anyway,
The interesting.
I'm actually kind of confused. So this Orthodox atheist, did he actually go to a liturgy, or is he just?
I think he's good faith. I think his name's Anson. I think he went to.
So
he's
let
a
me
politician. You can trust him.
Let me address that directly so that you understand. So, I do goof around a lot and say about a bunch of unserious stuff. But I actually
go on.
I actually did go to Orthodox liturgy yesterday. I went with a friend of mine named Patrick. He's been interested in Orthodoxy for a while, and I just found out about it the other day, and I've been interested in it some too. And so we went to liturgy together down in Montgomery, and it was, I've been an atheist for 25 years or more, and so it was just a different experience for me to do. I didn't realize my eyes were that far apart. Wow, they're really far apart. I wonder if I'm like a alcohol baby or something. What the hell is that?
Could be. We have a question from the chat here. Anson, is it okay to kiss a picture of Bill Gates as a practicing Orthodox atheist?
Oh yeah, he's one of our living saints of the Orthodox atheism. So,
well, glory to God. I mean, shoot, sorry, I tried.
Yeah, that's the crossing. No, you see, that's the crossing.
Glory to monkey. Bill Hicks says, Anson, cheers for the massive donation in Glenn stream. Whoever Glenn is.
Glenn Lawrence.
Glenn Beck.
Yeah, Glenn Lawrence. Yeah, I was fucking around with him this morning.
I gotcha. I didn't know Glenn Beck was still.
Eastern Orthodox guy said that the next day he went at the chalice. The interesting thing that I would probably say, like, in 70% of the cases, if he were here in Lebanon, they would just give him the Eucharist.
Really?
Yeah, they never ask They never.
Oh, here it's
they're
like the priest will stop and ask you, start having a conversation,
know.
asking the information.
I know that's.
But even and then the priest will. I don't know if Eastern Orthodox guy got a blessing, but they'll the priest will give you a blessing instead of the Eucharist. But
I mean, that's
that made me. You said like you're embarrassed. That made me think of the Sunday liturgy after I was first baptized. I showed up and you're in this white gown because you're newly illumined. And for those who don't know, a catechumen is somebody who is chosen to initiate the joining to the church. You're getting engaged, and then when you baptize, that's like you're getting married to the church. You're becoming one with the church. So I was a catechumen, and then one Sunday I was baptized. The next Sunday you show up as an Orthodox Christian. You're in a white gown to show that you're newly illumined, that you've been purified. And I was there, and a guy who he's a subdeacon, but they call for the catechumens to come up to the front so they can be prayed for, and a guy starts. He goes, okay, starting the prayer for the catechumens, and then a guy taps me on the shoulder like, go. I'm like, huh? So I go up front and I'm like, I shouldn't be doing this. I'm in my white gown as a newly illumined, standing there with all the other catechumens just like this. And then he says, catechumens depart, and they all turn around, and a guy comes up to me. He's like, hey, didn't I see you get baptized last week? I'm like, yeah. He's like, you don't need to do this. You're not a catechumen anymore. And I turn around, and the guy who told me to go up is like, I'm so sorry.
Wait, do you guys do the catechumens depart? Actually, like, do they actually depart?
No. Well, they go back to where they were. It's not like in the ancient church where they went back to they don't go to the narthex.
Approach and everything?
Yeah, the catechumens approach the altar.
Whoa.
They go up to the iconostasis.
Wow. I never experienced
You don't do that?
to be honest. No.
That's like every single time here.
No, and we have a lot of catechumens in our church.
I've heard that's how the priest at the Serbian church nearest us, we're in the OCA, and the Serbian church closest to us actually has the catechumens come up. I'm just kind of curious on the thoughts of, because I have mixed feelings on it, but I know like the priests and the bishops decide upon, what the local practice is as far as if the catechumens actually depart once the, like the liturgy of the faithful commences after the, I guess it's the cherubic hymn, prayers for the catechumens, and then they'll ask catechumens to depart. And I actually saw,
what does that say?
I guess not to demean it, but I saw a quote mine of a lot of the church fathers talking about, why catechumens depart. And the other flip side of that argument that I've heard is that was primarily practiced when the church was under persecution, and you never really knew. Is that what you also heard, Westford? Is like you don't really know who is attending as a catechumen?
Well, yeah, I think part of it was that, like you said, Christianity was illegal. There's persecution, and there were infiltrators trying to get into the church to try to uncover its secrets and then try to use it against them legally. So part of it was protecting the mysteries, the secrets of the church from its enemies in a very real sense. But then also the mysteries of the church, which were much more hidden than they are now. Like back then, people didn't really even know about the Eucharist. People didn't know about the sacraments. Now that there's all these schisms in Christianity, and some of them have the sacraments and some of them don't, in their own belief, everybody knows about the scriptures. Everyone knows about the epistles. Everyone knows about all these things. It's not the same. It's not the same hiddenness that it was before. So, from like a technical level, it isn't. There isn't the same necessity to have the catechumen depart.
Yeah, I think that kind of checks out. I guess hearing that explanation kind of just helps me come to realize that it's a huge privilege to be able to stay throughout the liturgy of the faithful, and then to kind of just be present for all of that. So it's
At monasteries,
Yeah,
they
it's
still do that. If
interesting.
you go to a monastery, they will make, if you're not baptized, then they'll make you go to the narthex.
Well, that's what I thought. As a catechumen, I discussed with my priest about, making a trip to, primarily just prepare for baptism. And I visited an OCA monastery. We got to visit a Serbian monastery. And I was like turning around and looking at the novice and the abbot and thinking like, do I need to get out of here? And the abbot just calmly walked up and said, oh, I'm not sure what their local practice is, but you can stay until someone escorts you out. And
Okay.
it was interesting, but I have heard like a lot of our parishioners have visited St. Anthony's near Phoenix, and I think they practice it there. But yeah, it's just interesting thinking about like the environment and keeping like the more inner like sacramental life of the church kind of hidden away because of all the persecution. And yeah, it's quite amazing, like the overlap that's there. But then, like I was saying, when Orthodox Atheist was kind of just joking around about his first liturgy
I love that
experience.
that's his name now.
Yeah. Well, the first time I wanted to say like username Orthodox, but
Yeah.
It's it's interesting, like the kind of culture shock that exists to whatever extent for anybody. But I think after a while, that quote from St. John Chrysostom, where he talks about almost like the liturgy kind of like a dew, like enveloping within you the more you attend. And it's just interesting. Like I said, the holistic aspect of it, and then you'll kind of pick up on these subtleties of our culture that are like trying to fill this void because of, we just don't have many holistic practices anymore. And there's like the fascination with some aspects of the New Age and like Far Eastern mysticism, and then like the balance that's found within the praxis of Orthodoxy. It's it just starts to make sense, but not always in a way that you can like verbalize.
And we still pray, neither will I speak of thy mysteries to thine enemies. And I think there is a modern day place for that. In the Royal Path, Andrew said that the way he practices that, like sometimes he'll come across a Protestant who is like very iconoclastic or very angry about like Roman Catholicism stuff. So anything that seems Roman Catholic to him about Orthodoxy, he would speak very harshly about. So he just decided to like guard some of the things about Orthodoxy to keep him from blaspheming the Holy Spirit, or to say something incredibly harsh about the Theotokos, for instance. He's like, I'm going to try to keep him from sinning by hiding the mysteries. Hello, Booty Alchemist. How are you, sir?
I'm doing well. I actually have
username Booty Alchemist.
Yes, I went to my first Orthodox church on Saturday.
Did you go with Anson?
Amazing. Two in one.
Yeah. I went there like I didn't know what to do. I to some guy that was.
You said you went to Saturday. Was it a Vesper service?
I don't know what it was, but I went there and had a talk with the bishop, and they said to come back, and I will.
You talked to the bishop?
Or somebody. I don't know. I don't know the lingo.
That's okay. Probably the priest.
Did he wear an icon or a cross?
A cross.
He's probably a priest.
I mean, there's also the possibility of like a deacon or a reader if they were in a cassock. But
no, if he wore a cross,
if he was wearing a cross, then it was a priest.
Yeah, so I think we're gonna probably do that next week. Go there for like a full service. Just kind of see how it goes. I don't know.
Were there also children kissing pictures there?
I did not see any children kissing pictures.
Did you
That
see
was
pictures?
that was Anson's main takeaway.
Did you see icons?
I did.
Were they nice?
As nice as they can get, I would say, but
I gotta
no
go.
offense.
His mom just walked in. No, Mom, I'm just masturbating. I'm not on Mr. Westford's stream.
Oh boy.
Well, I gotta go look for my wallet. Me and the lady gotta go find my wallet.
You don't have to use euphemisms here, dude. But I mean, if you're in mixed company, I understand.
I lost my wallet.
Is it in your prison pocket?
No, I checked there. Well, I actually emptied that earlier, so it wasn't in there.
Oh, you.
What's up, dude?
Yeah. Sorry, I've been super busy and I've never really been on, but I'll be back. I just wanted to pop in and say hello, and that I went to my first Orthodox church.
Yay! Congratulations, dude. I'm happy for you.
Yeah, that's exciting.
All right, guys. Well, I'll chat to you guys later. I gotta go see where my wallet is.
Yeah, I hope you find it.
man.
All right, you guys have a wonderful day.
You too, man. Any other thoughts about your first Orthodox IRL experience? Orthodox atheist?
They had some weird food afterwards. It looked like rainbow-colored Jello.
Did they have the little rice things rolled in grape leaves?
I don't know. I didn't touch the food. It looked weird, except for the Chips Ahoy cookies that were on the table. I didn't eat those, though, because they make me fat.
And you got to keep up your image for the campaign trail, right?
Yeah, and I had a good conversation with the priest afterwards because I told him I was an atheist, and then we had a conversation about the nature of free will.
Oh, nice.
And a couple of the other guys that were there were interested in why I was there and not an obnoxious atheist like they were expecting me to be.
Right. Well, I mean, a lot. There's atheist converts at my church, so they definitely find their way there.
Well, there was a guy that I talked to. He told me he didn't think he'd ever talked to an atheist before. That was interesting.
Wow. Well, I guess you're in the Bible Belt, so I feel like there's probably not as many there as in other places.
Yeah, they hide in shame.
Yeah, I didn't know if it would feel like to you that I was prying, but I didn't know if you grew up in a Protestant background. That's kind of my background, and didn't know if you were also Protestant growing up.
Yeah, I already covered this with Mr. Westford on a prior episode, but yeah, I grew up in the Baptist and the Mormon church.
Oh, okay.
And did this feel more like the Mormon or the Baptist, if you had to say one or the other?
Neither, because it didn't feel like they were there as a social club where they were elevating each other instead of what their philosophy said. That was the part that I liked the most about the Orthodox, is that it was actually a production related to their philosophy instead of, a place where people go to do networking for business.
Right. Yeah, they weren't trying to sell you Amway during the business meeting.
No. But yeah.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah, no, in terms of difference between my upbringing, it was completely different than any church I've been to except for the Catholic church. I went to one Catholic service in my life, and it was most like that.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I've been inside 4 or 5 Catholic churches and never actually been to a service.
Yeah, there's lots of standing and kneeling and sitting in the Catholic service too.
That makes let me pull this up here. This is something weird I saw about a Catholic service recently. Here, somebody say something smart and intelligent and funny and witty all at once while I do this. Here it is.
Smart and intelligent and funny and witty all at once.
Yeah, just this say stuff like I say, basically.
Stuff like I say, basically.
Oh, come on. Like, is
Oh,
this
come
was
on.
this your experience at a Catholic mass?
Man, I don't know if this was the same like mega gathering that I saw coverage of, but
It is.
it's so interesting that you know, like I also had gone to mass a handful of times growing up as a Protestant, and when I did attend Vespers that first time, there was definitely pieces of that I was like, oh, this is again like there's hierarchy and structured form of worship. And I don't know, at the time when I was young attending mass with some of my friends, that you know there were certainly pieces of that I was like, I guess I didn't know that I felt like it was missing, but I respected it. And then, like I said, you see these like mega gatherings and like the clown masses that
Right.
have been pointed out multiple times. And even you know, even catching up with the loved one recently, she, you know, I really struggle on like when to bite my tongue. I kind of went over this last time I chatted with you for the first time, but like when to bite my tongue and when to maybe try to give that like holy sense of discomfort, because we have to be honest about the Orthodox faith with discernment. But it's just like, what is going on with the suppression of the Latin Mass? And it just seems like,
I mean, it's pretty obvious.
a very
it's from
obvious.
on high. They want to get rid of it.
Yeah, very obvious. And I brought up with a few folks at our parish, like, you know, same group of guys that I mentioned. You know, one of them was listening to this Black Rifle, like, oh, we went up and touched the marble on the gravestones. And at another lunch break, like this was late last year, they were watching some clips of the Ted 2 movie. And I think, wait a second,
wait, where was this at?
It was just on a lunch break at work. And
I mean, that's like some atheist iconography as well, I'm pretty sure. That and that one movie about like the alien friend. I can't remember what that one was called.
Yeah, I mean, there's like mega blasphemous type lines in that movie script. And then I'm thinking, and I'm Googling it right now to make sure, but yeah, like Mark Wahlberg is in Ted. Like he's the guy who's friends with the bear. And then you see this stuff about, you know, he's got like the tequila and the sneakers and the, like, I think he's praying with Muslims on his Instagram. And you're just like, what is going on, dude? Like, how can, in fact, I guess I could segue this into maybe the discussion at large, but I was listening to like the latter part of Jim Bob and Jay Dyer. I only caught a little bit of it, but yeah, I had this thought because they were talking about discernment, and how philosophy is going to play a part no matter how philosophically savvy you are. But I had this thought that one person could look at Mark Wahlberg and his influence and say, oh yeah, this is so great. Like, look at what he's doing. In someone else's paradigm, they could look at that and say, no, this is obviously like something has gone awry here. Like there's so many inconsistencies with, you know, an actor being involved in TED 2 and like, I suppose marketing sneakers and tequila in itself isn't necessarily bad, but you just don't, I guess it could segue into the saints of the Roman Catholic Church. Like there's not all this strange stuff going on in the Orthodox Church, and the stuff that does go on, it's not, you know, it's not like our church is built around one guy. So
right. Well,
yeah,
like,
you can criticize.
I hear the difference, like in the Pauline letters. I'm pretty sure those are written by Paul. He's writing a bunch of churches that have these issues, but they're part of the church, and he's trying to bring them back up to the standard. Like, hey, you're doing these mistakes. You need to bring it back up. So there's always been problems, but I think a big problem is, or a difference is, people that they're having these problems versus like it's totally accepted and propagated and promoted from on high, from the hierarchy, being like, this is where we want to go. We want this liturgical abuse to be the norm. That's totally different than, Oh yeah, hey, there's a couple of issues or there's some scandals that happen.
So I had
'Cause I think
trouble
we
following.
should expect scandals.
So I
Yeah.
had trouble following EO guy's line of thinking there. Why is Mark Wahlberg relevant in the conversation about Mark Wahlberg relevant in any way? Like, how does that tie in?
Because
'Cause
he's
I
a
don't,
Roman
I don't.
Catholic.
Yeah, but I mean, that's the
He was
Boogie
trying to-
Nights guy, right?
Yeah, I think so.
So-
I think he was. Neo can clarify, but I believe he was saying that it was showing the since Vatican II, there's this progressive push in Roman Catholicism, and he's just using Mark Wahlberg as an example that he's willing to pray with Muslims. He's willing to do movies that are really blasphemous and atheistic and anti-Catholic for money or whatever, and it doesn't seem to be against his own Catholic faith. I think that's what EO was saying.
Okay.
Yeah,
okay.
exactly. He's just an influential practicing Roman Catholic, and I just looked up, like, by chance, did Lofton ever make a video on this? And I just think there's so much craziness going on in the Roman Catholic world that it almost just has to be,
I see,
like, hand waved or ignored. And
so you're
it's
saying
like,
all like the internet professional Roman Catholics aren't being like, look how terrible this is. This guy is not presenting us well. It's more like, well, he's Roman Catholic and he's famous. That's going to be good for us. Is that what you're trying to say?
yeah, exactly. And that's kind of why I was tying it back to, like, a paradigmatic level. And it's, I mean, I don't know on what grounds they really could criticize Mark Wahlberg, because you see kind of you see the papacy taking things in the same direction, where there doesn't seem to be this reverence and, whatever good that you could talk about as far as, like, the form of worship that, like, trad cats are attached to. It doesn't seem like that matters at all. And I guess I understand why Jay is talking about the fact that it's irrelevant for Thomas to be arguing these points that Thomas Aquinas made, because the papacy has moved far beyond that, like, for a long time.
Well, I mean, especially since Vatican II. Like, Vatican II liberalized Roman Catholicism so much, and it brought in the concentric circle model of, Rome is most church, and Orthodox is a little bit less church, and Protestants a little bit less church, and Mormons and Jehovah's Witness and Muslims, they're still Christian, basically, just a little bit less. It made everything relativistic.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, like, I don't know if Eric Ibarra ever commented on Mark Wahlberg, or if if anybody, maybe this Diamond Brothers guy. But obviously his position isn't really, you can't really reconcile that with the statements about, you must submit to the decrees of the Pope. Like, it's just, I don't know, man. It's amazing. Have you ever come across the letter that Father Seraphim Rose wrote to Thomas Merton, the Catholic monk?
Maybe I have read his book of letters to the guy, I believe, who converted from Roman Catholicism to Orthodoxy, and he himself became a priest. I've read all those letters. I don't think I've read that one.
Oh, okay. I think I finally printed this one out. It's just about idealism, and he's writing. But anyhow, this Father Thomas Merton, this monk, essentially started to espouse that, like, mega ecumenism, like, all paths lead to the same God. Yeah. And then you see the fruits of, correct me if I'm wrong, but I don't know if absolute divine simplicity, and then eventually the doctrines of the Pope and, like, the decrees of the Pope lead people to, like, justify that and say, well, it really doesn't matter. We can go pray with Muslims and Jews, and it's like the
I would say
utmost
that
form of
it's natural theology would be probably one of the deeper roots, because that's relativistic. Your starting point of reasoning is looking at nature and then trying to build upon theology on top of that. You can maybe make good arguments like there must be a creator if there's creation, but you can't get to personal God, Trinity from that, and you have to bake in a lot of things like From the Orthodox perspective, death is unnatural. Death was entered in at the fall. It wasn't baked into creation. But if you're starting at the state of creation now, then you have to say that death is natural. Then you can't preclude things like Muslims or Jews in natural theology. You can argue for something like, oh, at least like be one of them. And so I'd say that. And then Vatican II, like I said, it was a huge push for relativism in Roman Catholicism, trying to make it. It says in Vatican II that the Muslims and the Hindus worship the same God in love.
Right.
So I'd be willing to hear what do you think? You mentioned the Pope and absolute divine simplicity. How do you think that factors into the relativism?
No, I think you just pinned down the term I was looking for, and I'm not educated enough on. It is interesting, though. I always wanted to find the dialogue between Saint Gregory of Palamas and Barlaam, because Saint Gregory at the time is like, look, this is going to lead to atheism.
Yeah, he said that,
and it's painful to see. Like, this is why I was curious about your upbringing, because in the West, if primarily what people are used to is Protestantism, which of course is quite relativistic, and Roman Catholicism, like you pointed out with natural theology, becomes relativistic. And it's like, how do people, I think essentially people's premonition tells them that this is wrong. I mean, that can become quite obvious. And I guess at a certain point, we have to hope that people won't just give up there. And so that's why it's always awesome to see people who do come from like, whether it's a non-religious background, like from the start, or someone who's moved into an agnostic or atheistic position, who is going to give orthodoxy a shot. Like it just seems like when you really start to pin things down, I think it's pretty common to hear, yeah, I started asking hard questions at my Protestant church and never got sufficient answers. So I guess it isn't the natural theology component that's more probably a factor here, but I'd have to read up on St. Gregory of Palamas and see if maybe that also plays into it. With
I could see that. I'd have to go back. I've read some of Gregory Palamas, but I read it way too early. It was like maybe the 4th or 5th Orthodox book I read, and a whole bunch of it went over my head because I just didn't have the framework really. But I can understand what you're saying there about how absolute and divine simplicity can lead to atheism. I'm not, because I think a lot of the problems with absolute divine simplicity is like I have never really seen a good argument how the incarnation could happen given absolute divine simplicity. If God is totally transcendent and you cannot participate in his essence in any way, and all he is his essence, how could he enter into creation? And what is the Eucharist given absolute divine simplicity? How are you partaking of the essence of God? They said you can't. They would say you can't do that. So it's one of those. It doesn't really make sense when you try to parse it out. Beliefs, but I don't know how that would push things towards relativism. At least, maybe I haven't thought about it. I need to go back and read Gregory Palamas. Maybe I'll get more insight about that.
Yeah, it's more of a, it's like a heavier pursuit to understand. But I think there have been things written on like the 3 kinds of atheism that he writes about. Because like the logical conclusions of absolute divine simplicity are kind of harder to grasp as far as comparing it to natural theology. And
right. Because
the result of that.
I believe you'd be getting into things like God is pure act, right? You have to get into a lot of philosophical stuff to tackle absolute divine simplicity.
Yeah. Yeah, and I think in a way that's not as easily described, it just kind of becomes manifest in the church, whether we're talking about like the church, quote unquote, Church of the Roman Catholics, or any of the different Protestant sects. Like there's just something missing, which is, yeah, it's what I appreciated about Mr. Orthodox Atheist, just kind of not going into a bunch of like profound details about his takeaways, because it can be tempting to do that once you start to be affected by the liturgy. But at the same time, there's a lot that, you know, you look at the apophatic theology where the Orthodox Church has always stressed, like, we can more easily say what God is not. And I think there's a big aspect of that with Orthodoxy. You know, we say that, like, regarding the liturgy, like there's nothing accidental in the liturgy, you know, like whether it's the censing or anything, like nothing is in there by accident. And there's always like a functional and rational element to it at the same time. But then like the mystical component comes in, and it's funny, something earlier reminded me that you don't want to ever like get into too much nuance to the point where you're compromising on something, but
Right.
there does seem to be so much nuance, whether it's like catechumens depart or dare I say with what ancient faith has been covering. I'm not advocating universalism, but to some extent, like I remember during my trip to the monastery, one of the, I never knew what to call this, but like an inquirer into monasticism who had kind of made somewhat of a commitment.
Novice, you would say, somebody that hasn't taken any vows, they haven't been tonsured, but they could even, you can be at the monastery for years as a novice. Here at there's a monastery a couple hours away from me, with Abbot Trifon there, and they have a novice that's been there for 2 years, I think, and you know, eventually he'll have to decide if he wants to commit and take the vows of monasticism or if he wants to enter back in the world.
Yeah, that makes sense. Well, this guy told me about how he had come across an akathist for, you know, prayers for those who departed outside of the Orthodox Church. And so it's just, I guess, point being, like the position of universalism is condemned at councils when Origen was condemned. But
Right.
at the same time, it's not like we're going to go and say that we don't pray for the salvation of everyone. And I guess there's a certain level of sobriety and nuance to that also. But it's, I guess, closing, it's just interesting, like the apophatic theology and some things that are better left unsaid, or simply admitting that like we can't know everything about God, as opposed to all the crazy things you get out of Thomism, you know.
Right. And I mean, I know when I first went to Orthodox liturgy, somebody had interviewed me, I probably would have said a bunch of nonsense, or it wouldn't have, there'd be no reason to ask me questions. I didn't get very much out of it. And I would really recommend anybody, there's a couple of people in chat saying they're wanting to go. I would suggest just go and be present. A lot of times they'll have books that you can read along. I really don't recommend that, especially if you're new, because the liturgy is highly variable. Depending on the day, there are multiple variables there's like 30 liturgical books that they pull from, because, okay, today we are honoring this saint. Oh, and it also happens to fall on this feast. And we're reading this chapter of this verse because of X, Y, and Z. And so you're trying to follow along in the book, and it has like the basic outlines, but if you're trying to read along, you'll wait, where am I? And then you'll try to look for it, because for the next 5 minutes, they're going to be doing the things that are just about today that aren't in the book. And that's going to happen over and over. So it's going to be easy for you to get lost. And I really think that it's more important to immerse yourself in it and be in the space, even if you don't get any of the words and they kind of wash over you. If you're able to just participate in some way and be there, that's going to be more fruitful than you trying to follow along in the book and try to understand all the words and stuff. Because, I mean, I've been going for several years now, and I still get new stuff that just will hit you. Like just like a month ago, I was standing in liturgy, and it just smacked me in the face. On the iconostasis, the royal doors, there's the 4 gospel writers, and I was just, looking kind of absentmindedly or whatever during liturgy, and it hit me that one is looking one way, and the other 3 are looking the other way. And I was like, oh, that must be John, because he's the one that's not the synoptic gospel writer. He's the one that wrote differently. So just I never noticed that before, but like you'll see meaning and patterns and things in the liturgy and in the church space all the time. Especially as you understand Orthodoxy, you acquire the phronema, you start to build up a framework of what Orthodoxy is. You'll start to see things like that. Things will just come to you. And one thing that was really cool how that happens was my father-in-law was kind of vaguely evangelifish, and he started coming to liturgy, and I think it was his first liturgy. There's a part where the priest walks down the aisle and he senses icons across the room, and my father-in-law gets up and he's like really interested. He's curious. And he's looking around, and I hear him whisper, "He's offering up prayers." I'm like, where did that? Yeah. I don't think you're wrong. So like, just participate. Don't try to intellectualize it too much. Just let insights come to you.
Yeah, that's kind of profound that he had that observation, because I think that's a large part of it, like invoking the prayers of the saints, and there might even be an aspect of the priest offering prayers as well.
Yeah, definitely. And like there's tons of hymns, "Let our prayers arise as incense." So yeah, he somehow, for whatever it was, he had that correct insight. What you want to say, Anson?
Well, why do you think I want to say something? I'm just over here listening to this intellectual conversation. I wanted to just say, I just wanted to say that you were right. The first time I went, which was yesterday, I didn't understand half of what was going on, or 79 or 90% of it, or whatever it was. But I viewed it as more of like an experience, and I just sort of took it all in, and whatever I got out of it is what I got out of it. And I talked to the priest afterwards, and I think is it a priest or a preacher? What do y'all call him?
Priest.
Yeah.
Priest. I mean, a priest is typically a preacher as well. They'll give the homily, but
yeah, but and he had a really good, like, there was like one part where there was like 10 minutes of him speaking normal instead of and whatever it was y'all call that other stuff, but
that'd be the homily.
Yeah. So and that was a really good part. It wasn't like the Baptist homily or sermon or whatever. It was
sermon. Yeah.
It was.
Are they singing in English?
What?
Were they singing
was it in Greek or English?
He did some of it in Greek and some of it in English.
Get a book if you can to follow what they say.
No, yeah. I mean, I would say, like, personally, my advice would be to avoid the book, even first couple of months or something, and then you can, like, I know people who have been Orthodox for years and now they read along with the book and it helps them focus. But I'd say definitely when you don't have the framework, when you don't understand the different parts of the liturgy, the different litanies, like when I was going like 3 or 4 months in, and I was trying to participate along. I started crossing myself. I had like no idea when. We're crossing ourselves now. I'm like, it took me that long to notice the pattern of when they invoke the Trinity, like in the name of the Father, the Son, the Holy Spirit. Oh, that's when you do it. But it's just, okay, I'm doing it now. Like, so just be there, be present.
Yeah. And the plain spoken part was different than the Protestant services that I'd been to, which the majority of the ones that I've been to in my life, and it was a frank discussion about the things that make us be more prideful, and it was something that I'd actually been thinking about in the reverence of patriotism, and how that is a sort of pridefulness that you should avoid. But he didn't say you should avoid it. He just talked about how the priest talks about how he was feeling those prideful feelings. He was vulnerable in the conversation. It wasn't like I've got the book here and I'm the one with all the words and you got to listen to what I'm saying because I'm reading from the book. It wasn't even that. It was more like a real person talking, and I appreciated that. Compared to all the nonsense that I've been subjected to in the Protestant churches. I don't know. It was nice. I didn't feel judged. So.
Yeah, I mean, well, there are definitely some horror stories I've heard. Like, trying to think who it was. Anyway, I heard a priest early on talk about like ethnophilitism is a heresy. That's like putting your ethnic identity above like as the highest. So like, oh, I am Greek instead of I'm Orthodox. That is having that demonic pride in who you are or who your people are. And he gave an example of a horror story from an ethnophilatist. I think it was a Greek parish, or maybe it was Russian. It was either Russian or Greek, but a black woman goes in, and a parishioner there who's Greek or Russian goes up to that woman and is like, "What are you doing here? Go to your American church. Get out of here. Go to your American church. You'll be welcome there." It's like, and then the priest saw that guy and was like, "Your job for the rest of your life until you die is to pray for that woman because of how much damage you just did to her."
Yeah, and I've been studying pride a whole lot more lately because even though I'm atheist, I realize that it's a big part of the problem in our society and culture. How much pride is in absolutely every part of our society. How we're trained to think about ourselves all the time and making ourselves feel better, and the pleasure we have, and searching for money. It's all related to pride and the lies that we tell to ourselves. So because I've been thinking so much about it, it was really nice to hear the service on that subject and spoken about in the way that I think about it, which was really cool. Yeah.
There's two books that you might enjoy. The first one's called God's Path to Sanity, and it's much more like a 101 introductory book. And then the next one would be Orthodox Psychotherapy, and it talks about pride, but it also tries to get to it talks about the 7 deadly sins, but it tries to get into the root of those. And the 3 main roots, I believe, are self-love. Oh my gosh, I just lost them. I've read them. Anyways, self-love. Anybody in the chat help me out?
Oh, what?
I don't know. I just blanked. Anyways, those books get into like the dynamics of spiritual illness and where pride comes from and how it affects us.
Yeah, all atheists in the United States, are spiritually ill, like you just said. I mean, it's and they don't even realize it. They think that it's just the way that it ought to be, the way that they feel empty. And even though I'm an atheist, I've spent a lot of my life trying to fight against that inside of myself. And it's hard when you don't have an objective framework to use. So,
well, I mean, nine times out of 10, the atheists I know, if you ask them, like, why are you an atheist? They typically will talk about problems with the Christians they've encountered, problems with the Catholic Church, problems with the Protestantism that they're familiar with, or a bad experience they had in their church, or the hypocrisy they saw in their preacher, or whatever it is, or mismanagement of funds, whatever. But so a lot of it is due to, hurt feelings, trauma, in what they saw in Christianity.
Yeah. Well, and that in being trained from a young age to, I guess, view religion with skepticism, and to think more highly of what people do, and your own individual knowledge, and what you think is more important than I guess the thought that happened before you. That's why so many people don't care about history, because it's irrelevant, because I'm not feeling it. I'm not thinking about it. Why should I care what those people thought and actually empathize with the experiences of people 2,000 years ago? Anyway, I just,
I mean, that's my little brother. My little brother is like, why should I care about the Bible? Those are old dead people. It has nothing to do with today. I'm like, if you just read Genesis, you will see relevant stuff all over the place. Just like it talks about the human experience, the human condition. Like, I mean, like you can Jordan Peterson it and go listen to his lectures about the psychology of it from his perspective. Like just the human heart. Let's just talk about like Cain and Abel, like somebody coming to the point of pride and anger at God that they'd kill their own brother. I mean, the Tower of Babel, like you'll see all these things manifest in our modern world if you have the eyes to see it, and if you can not have the superiority of the modern man thinking that you're better than everyone that's come before you.
Sebastian,
what?
Are you?
Like you had something to say.
Yeah, Sebastian. I don't think I've ever talked to you before. You sound a whole lot like Nadim.
Oh, Well,
Have you ever seen
because
Sebastian and Nadim in the same room?
because for me it is 3 a.m. and for Nadim it is 4.
Staying up
That's why
late,
Nadim
huh?
had to leave because Nadim woke his mom up, and that's we saw his mom walk in the room right before we left. Well, what do you guys want to talk about here? I got nothing. I'm free. I'm chock full.
How about we pull up some Norm Macdonald live clips off of Internet Archive and make fun of those? They're all
If you want.
TOS.
No, I mean I saw somebody play like a 30-second clip of Norm a week ago, and their stream got taken down. So I see what you're trying to do to me.
Oh,
He's hilarious. Go watch Norm Macdonald. He's one of the greats. He is definitely one of the greats. But I am not gonna get my stream taken down. So EO guy, are you a catechumen?
no, I was received on Lazarus Saturday. So,
Okay.
yeah, it was.
Who's the patron saint?
It was a good journey. I felt like I took my time for the most part. I mean, I know you might not be the healthiest thing to compare back to when catechism was 3 years, but
Right.
I think it was closer to 2 years as far as like both my inquiring and catechism. So.
Sebastian here asked, who is your patron saint?
Oh, St. Nicholas the Wonder Worker.
Oh, glory! My patron saint's named after your patron saint.
Saint
Yeah, I
Nicholas
remembered.
is the most common
I
patron
tried to
saint
throw
in
that
my
out. There's a great icon of Tsar St. Nicholas and St. Nicholas together, and now I think he even had diary entries of him celebrating his name's day, and I hear it's pretty hard to find a church that's not, rather a village in Russia that doesn't have a church dedicated to St. Nicholas, and
Well, also Serbia. Serbia loves Tsar Nicholas.
Yeah, he's the most common patron saint in my country.
Wow. Did you guys know he has a dragon tattoo from Japan?
who is this?
Tsar Nicholas has a dragon tattoo. He got
No,
in
I
Japan.
meant Saint Nicholas, the wonder worker of Mira.
Oh,
Oh, I did not know that.
yeah. My patron saint has a dragon tattoo.
Well, interestingly, I've tried to research, like how many of the other St. Nicholases have St. Nicholas of Myra as their patron saint, and I'm not sure about St. Nicholas of Japan. Like, I guess you can assume most are, like most do have the patron of St. Nicholas the Wonder Worker. But did you ever come across the letters between Tsar St. Nicholas and St. Nicholas of Japan, like during the Russo-Japanese War?
No, I haven't. I've read a lot of Saint Tsar Nicholas's letters, but I haven't read that one.
Yeah, I want to say that it was covered by Father Peter Heers when he did a big coverage on war back when things broke out in Ukraine, and that was one of the things that he covered, just because St. Nicholas of Japan was in a tough spot, like his fatherland fighting against Japan. Yeah, I think essentially St. Nicholas was commending him on how he conducted himself, and
by modern media, I hear that Saint Nicholas II, the Tsar, led his country really badly into famine, into everything. Is that true?
I mean, you'll have to go back to what the criticisms are and then look at the evidence. But I mean, there was a famine, and a lot of the stuff is propaganda, obviously with communists trying to besmirch his name. But
of course,
with the famine in itself, I'd have to like go back and read to give you a intelligent answer. But I will say that one thing that was working against Tsar Nicholas was his father was assassinated when was it assassinated? No, I can't remember. Off the top of my head. No, his grandfather was assassinated. I think his father just died to illness when he was like in his 40s or something like that. He died much younger than expected. So Tsar Nicholas grew up in the military, and he learned military discipline and military maneuvers and strategy. And then his father was planning on teaching him politics and teaching him how to govern and rule, but he died before he was able to pass down all that knowledge. So Tsar Nicholas became the Tsar without his father imparting all that wisdom to him. So he was, in that way, not as equipped as he could have been. But I've read tons of stuff about it, and tons of his advisors, it was a lot of the times he was damned if he did, damned if he didn't. Like, if he followed his advisors, who's supposed to be the experts and giving him the advice about whatever they're giving advice about, if he followed their advice, they'd be like, oh, he can't think for himself. He just does whatever we tell him to. And then if he said, no, I think this is best, this is what we're going to do, the advisor would go, he doesn't listen to us. He's hard-headed. He's ignorant. He won't listen to the expert. So yeah, there's tons of that kind of stuff being written about him, even at the time.
What about Rasputin? Was he like as bad as they say?
We talked about this last week. It's as bad as they say, like the worst stories, that would be very hard to believe. There's ridiculous, just ridiculous witchcraft stories about him. He survived 100 bullets. He was able to he ran down the road being shot at, and it's like an action movie and all of that. And I mean, we know that he was Orthodox. We know that he was kind of a wandering pilgrim. We know that the royal family said good things about him. It seems that there was a miracle he worked on Saint Alexis. He healed him from an illness. But Saint Elizabeth, the new martyr, was hearing all the rumors about him and advised the empress to distance herself due to those rumors. So those are the things I can say that I know are factual. And whether he did bad stuff or had bad proclivities, possible. Maybe he was a holy man that's just mischaracterized and propagandized. I don't know. I haven't done enough research about it, but I know more and more things are coming to light about all that story. But all the insane stories, from my understanding, a lot of those things just came from the communist propaganda at the time, trying to besmirch the royal family.
Well, I watched the movie Hellboy and learned that Rasputin was a magical entity who was able to live eternally. So,
right,
yeah, I believe Hellboy. So,
right, I'm pretty sure Rasputin was the reincarnation of Baba Yaga or something like that, if I'm not wrong.
Yeah, that's you got it, man. That's spot on.
Yeah, I mean, I when I read something from a communist, I take it at face value. That's what I do.
Yeah, I mean that's what public education is for.
I mean, yeah, that's if I didn't drop out of college, it's what would have happened to me. I would have just been spoon fed a bunch of communist stuff. Hey, Anson, Orthodox atheist, what are you going to do about the school and the university system when you're elected?
Well, when I never get elected, I'm not going to do anything about it except for dissolve it.
Oh, afuerta.
That's it. Yeah, I'm gonna start from the bottom up and just get rid of all of it, and that'll fix 90% of it, and then I'll install myself as the monarch.
Wow, I mean, you have my vote to take away my vote. Hey, EO guy, I'm sorry I cut you off. What were you trying to say?
No, I was just saying it's your comment about when I read anything from a communist, I take it at face value. I remembered our conversation about Saul Alinsky last week or whenever it was. So it's just accuse your enemies of exactly what you're doing. And
yep, very common. Many such cases.
And I can't remember specifics, but when I was in college, there were a few times when I just remembered being like, something feels strange here. Like what is behind this mentality of, like I said, I wish I could remember specifics, but it's just a weird grooming center. And I don't know that it's so subtle anymore. I think you could walk into a huge lecture hall at a big state university and pull out tons of obvious examples of how they're moving in that direction in a more obvious way.
Well, I really gotta give it to depression. I gotta really hand it to depression because that saved me from all the communist stuff in college. I dropped out. I was very depressed. Going to college was like one of the worst times for me. Very depressed, very depressed. And I got to thank depression for making me drop out. I think it really did good for me.
I had a phase where I idolized communists.
Is that phase still going on, you little KGB mouse?
No, thankfully.
Glory to God.
Yeah, I was an edgy atheist like 2 years ago, I think.
You're an edgy atheist?
Yeah, communist.
Did you look like Anson?
No.
So, but you were like Anson, like he says, like 15, 20 years ago, though. You're a Reddit atheist?
Yes.
Have
I'm
you burned
sorry
your
if I
fedora?
sound like I'm half asleep because I am. Yes. I burnt my fedora symbolically since I left
Good.
that phase.
You have to burn the fedora within.
Yes. I have a completely unrelated question, but is Solomon a saint?
Yeah, I believe Solomon's a saint. I could be wrong, but I know Saint David, the King David's a saint. All the prophets are saints. I'm pretty sure Saint Solomon is a saint. I can look it up real quick. I mean, that's why we have you around. You ask the left field stuff.
Yeah, so let me while you're looking that up, I'll tell you the story of the worst thing that I did as an atheist when I was a militant atheist. There was a group of people who came to my house to try and save my soul and sit down with me and talk to me about Jesus. And one of the guys there had Lou Gehrig's disease, ALS. And I told him that I felt sorry for him talking to his imaginary friend while he was dying.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, it was probably the worst thing I did when I was a militant atheist.
Yes, Saint Solomon is a saint.
Thank you.
That's yeah, like just flip the tables and like have a Christian tell an atheist like you're about to go to hell and you're about to experience eternal conscious torment unless you do something else about like
I've been told that a bunch of times.
I know, but like on your deathbed?
No, not on my deathbed. Yeah, I know.
Love?
It was fucked up to say. I mean, I admit that, like it was one of my least proud moments. One of the things that I'm least happy that I've done in my life. And he's deceased now, so I can't apologize to him.
Right. You can pray for him though. I mean, we believe in prayers for the dead. So.
Oh, so y'all are like the Mormons. Cool.
No.
Sort of. I mean, we don't baptize for the dead, but we can pray for them.
In a different sense, yeah. I mean, in Maccabees, Judah prays for his deceased soldiers who were caught with pagan amulets on them, and God forgives them, so they don't go into hell.
There's actually a lot of Mormons converting to Orthodoxy because they don't have a lot of the same usual hang-ups that like Reformed Protestants do.
The CIA recruits Mormons into being agents since they know a lot of languages.
Mormonism's weird. Well, I think I'm going to hop off here. Is there anything you guys want to talk about before I go?
No, I'm glad I could hop on again,
the stream will last another hour now that I've declared I'm leaving.
No, I'm glad I could hop on again, man.
Yeah, it's good to see you again. All right, well, you guys have a good rest of your day, everybody.
Right.
Let's all forgive Anson together on one. Anson, we forgive you. And let's all pray. What was your friend's name?
I don't remember what his name is. Remember one of the names of the guys that was there, but I don't remember his.
Was he baptized into the Orthodox Church?
No, these were all Protestants.
Okay, then ask Saint Varus to pray for him. He is the patron saint of unbaptized people who died.
Yeah, he's the saint who the Akatist is written to that I mentioned earlier. Yeah.
How do you spell his name?
Let's see, I have it right here. So,
Yes.
Yeah, that's it.
Okay. Let me pull it up for everybody. Everybody, let's everybody pray for Anson's departed friend that died. I don't know how long ago.
Yeah, we'll
But,
do.
Here is Saint Virus. You can go look up the Akathist. Anson, if you ever can remember his name, let me know and we'll pray for him specifically.
Yeah.
All right. You guys have a good rest of your day.
All right.
Yeah, you
God
too, man.
bless.
Peace out. What? Oh, I see.